Competition is heating up inside Huff Hall on the campus of the University of Illinois. The Illini, a strong second in the Big Ten, taking on the resurgent Ohio State Buckeyes. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Champaign. I'm Mike Lederman, together with former U.S. Olympian, Michigan All-American Elise Ray. Elise, Illinois lost to Michigan in its last dual meet. Certainly not an upset. Michigan's #1. Ohio State, meanwhile, after having so much trouble all season long, has won its last 2 dual meets, including beating #3 Penn State. You think they can make it 3 in a row?
I think they can. Winning against Penn State was a huge confidence booster for them. I think they're going to feel really good coming into tonight. Unfortunately, they've had a very injury-ridden season so far. Senior Hillary Dow, one of their leaders in the all-around, is competing tonight with a stress fracture. Also, sophomore Casey Williamson hopefully can put up a strong performance tonight and help this team.
Illinois is tough, it's healthy, and it's also looking for its first Big Ten championship in 20 years.
That's right. This Illinois team is very consistent. As you said, they're very healthy, and they are great competitors. 3 All-Americans are leading them in the all-around tonight. Juniors Melissa Fernandez and Allison Buckley, and senior Sarah Schmidt.
And both teams have young, dynamic coaches. Carrie Fagan for Ohio State. She's in her 6th season. She's patched her lineup together, and now she's watching it pay dividends. On the other side, the reigning National Coach of the Year, Bob Starkell of Illinois. He's built the Illini into a powerhouse to challenge not only the best in the conference, but also nationally. So let's go right to our first rotation. Illinois starts on the vault. Ohio State will be on the uneven bars. Our first Illini competitor on the vault, senior Nicole Cowart. Bob Starkell uses her to jumpstart everyone else.
Nice first vault there for the Illini. Nicole does a Yurchenko half, which we'll see here on the replay that she lands a blind landing. Round off by cantering onto the horse. Nice lift and distance, half twist. She does not see the mat when she lands. Very difficult.
You know, Elise, we saw her tweak her ankle in warm-up, but it didn't seem to be bothering her there.
Yeah, the funny thing about injury is when you compete, you hardly feel it. That's the trick.
On the uneven bars, here's sophomore Casey Williamson from Mansfield, Ohio. And this is a key apparatus for Ohio State. They have had so many problems here all season long. If they get a good start here, Elise, they could be in good shape.
That's right. Casey starts with a nice combination there. Giant full to her transition to the low bar. A little bit of struggle there getting back up to the high bar. Gearing up here for her dismount. Nice double layout, 2 stretch flips in a laid out position.
Casey Williamson has gone 9.85 for a personal best. Here she is.
Here's her dismount. You can see she's in a nice position. Over rotates it slightly. It's going to cost her on that step there.
Back to the vault, Melissa Fernandez, a junior. She has had a marvelous season from Eudora, Kansas. Melissa, the shortest Illini, but one of its best.
And most powerful, as we can see there. She does a Yurchenko full. She completes the other half that we saw from Nicole, landing forwards.
Nicole, the 9.750 on her vault. Here's Melissa's.
She's a good entry onto the vault. She just lands a little bit short here. You can see her chest lands low, but she recovers nicely with that hop.
And back over to the uneven bars now. Good look at Kristen Perhach from Naperville, Illinois, Neuqua Valley High School. And she has stepped up as a senior on this apparatus, sort of in mid-season, and given Ohio State a nice bump up. And the tall gymnast at 5'7", Elise.
I was just going to mention that. And the one thing on the uneven bars is that 5'7" height is really going to create really nice lines, nice extension, as we'll see here in her routine. Mounts from the high bar. We see there giant full to a huge Tkachev. You can see her height helping her out there. She gets way above the bar on that release move.
Casey Williamson, a 9.625 for her effort.
Nice routine there.
Kristen Perhach, the senior. Let's take a look.
This huge release. See how high she gets up over that bar directly into a shoot over. And a nice connection here for her dismount. Giant full directly into 2 flips. She'll get connection bonus for that. Stuck landing.
And there is Kristen. Again, a good effort. Here is Sarah Schmidt, senior from Heartland, Wisconsin. And she is on a tear. She is having a terrific meet, a terrific season. Did extremely well against Michigan. Here she goes.
Another blind landing. She does a Yurchenko half. I saw her warm these up today, and she is just very, very consistent on this event. Each one getting the height and distance from that horse. That hop, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 tenths depending on the judge. Wasn't tiny, but wasn't too big. Very clean vault, though.
Melissa Fernandez, a 9.7 for her vault. And now back to Taylor Jones. She is the Big Ten Freshman of the Year from a year ago. And Taylor, a sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma.
Another mount from the high bar here. Giant full, directly into a sheet over handstand, then right into another release move, toe up to high bar. 3 big skills in a row right there. Big dismount, double layout, and great landing.
Wow, she's got to be thrilled with that. Ohio State strong on the uneven bars to start.
You can see how high she gets off the bar. Little leg separation, but knows exactly where she is in the air, stuck landing.
All right, Taylor Jones with her efforts. We'll be back with more of the first rotation. Stay tuned on the Big Ten Network. Back in Champaign as we continue first rotation. Don't miss the biggest conference event of the year. Watch teams compete for individual and team titles. The Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championship, Saturday, March 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern from Columbus, Ohio, St. John Arena. Coverage in HD and only on the Big Ten Network. This is Jacqueline Kantecki for Illinois, a freshman. Also tall, about 5'5", from Queen of Peace High School in Bridgeview, Illinois.
She will be clear here because she did not touch the board, so she is able to go back and try again. It will not cost her, right?
Okay. So you get a mulligan of sorts.
Right. Sometimes it's just a little mental glitch. Sometimes the nerves get the best of you right there. Sometimes it's just your steps feel off. The steps between where she starts and when she gets to the board are absolutely critical for each gymnast. It's individual. So we'll see if she gets it back on track.
This time for real.
And she surely did. Nice Yurchenko full.
Following Sarah Schmidt's 9.725, Jackie Kantecki.
You can see her kind of laugh there. You can see from the end she was a little bit crooked getting onto the horse, but she recovered nicely. That was a nice strong vault. She recovered mentally very well as well. It can be a little bit shaky to try again.
Taking a little heat from her teammates. Now Colleen Dean, 5'3" freshman, and she has trained with Beth Weimer. She came out of that gym, and you know Beth Weimer, of course.
I surely do. Colleen had an interesting mount there. She started in between the bars. Big release move there. Straddle Jaeger. Beautiful handstand, nice lines. Transitioning back up to the high bar.
You saw Kristen Herhatch's score, 9.8, a season best for her.
Blind change. Front giant pirouette. This is all connective bonus. Huge double back. Wow, she knew right where that was. Very clean routine from Colleen.
Colleen Dean from Toledo, Ohio, and you know the team is just building confidence with every athlete right here.
There's a front giant pirouette right on top of the high bar. As you can see, she gets way above that high bar, which makes the dismount easier to stick.
And there is Colleen. Sophomore Kelsey Joannidis. She is the Big Ten vault champion from a year ago. And here she is as a sophomore. Won it as a freshman. Oh, nice.
Yurchenko full again. She has great distance from the horse. You can see how far back she lands. The judges really take that into account. It's a nice, smooth run. Power for hurdle. Nice entry onto the horse. pretty good landing, slightly short. It'll cost her maybe a tenth and a half.
Kentucky a 9.775 for her vault. And now back to the uneven bars with the captain, two-year captain, Hillary Dow, the senior from Yorktown, Virginia, working on that injured ankle you mentioned, Elise. See how it affects her, but she's had it for a while.
That's right, and apparently Hillary is just an outstanding leader, both in athletics and emotionally to his team. Nice release move there. That's a pipe to Ginger.
Colleen a 9.75 for her uneven bars routine, Colleen Dean.
Hillary's height here really makes her stand out. Nice dynamic bar routine.
And she is so much fun to watch.
Beautiful giant full. Her execution is beautiful. You can see the height she gets over the bar. Slight leg separation when she catches. Here's her dismount. She'll get connection bonus for this giant full into double back.
And there is Colleen. Now to Allison Buckley, who anchors the vault for Illinois. She is a strong all-arounder, probably their best, and has gone 9-9 on the vault.
And you can see why her height off that horse is very impressive. She makes that vault look absolutely effortless.
Allison, a junior from the Chicago area, Conant High School in Schaumburg.
Just a powerhouse in the execution. Her legs are together. You can see she has a pretty big mat she lands on, maybe a little extra cushion for ankles or knees. Tends her to a little bit bounce backwards, which will cost her a good 2/10, I would think.
There's Allison Buckley, and here is Rebecca Best. Rebecca Best, All-American from Ohio State, the first they had in 10 years in Columbus on the floor, but here she is on the uneven bars.
There's a nice move there. As she casts a handstand, she hops both of her hands into an undergrip position and transition back to the low bar. Kind of a unique skill there.
Rebecca from Williamstown, New Jersey.
And she does a big dismount, double back with a full twist. One of the most difficult dismounts we've seen so far in the competition.
Bill Lorenz, the assistant coach, giving her the high 10, as do the teammates. Here's the dismount.
She starts that full twist right as she leaves the bar. Just a small step, and very impressive dismount from Rebecca.
Saturday, March 20th, men's gymnastics returns as the men showcase their skills in the Big Ten gymnastics meet. The Golden Gophers host both Iowa and UIC, Illinois, Chicago. That's March 20th at noon Eastern in HD on the Big Ten Network. Mike Liederman, Elise Ray with you, and there are the results after rotation one. Elise, Allison Buckley leading the charge for the Illini on the vault.
That's right, an impressive performance by her. So consistent and so solid on this event. The other score is about 9-7 average, maybe a little low for the Illinois team. I think mostly it's because of the steps on their landings.
And if you're a Buckeyes fan, you're going to be very encouraged by the way they performed on the bars. That, I believe, is the second best score they've had all season, and no falls.
That's right, Kristen and Taylor both posting 9.8s, just 2/10 shy away from a perfect 10. Very strong first event for the Buckeyes.
So the team standings, again, you can't tell much from this because they worked on two different apparatus. Ohio State with a 48-8 and the Illini up a quarter of a point at 48-825 coming off the vault. Carrie, you've got to be happy with the way the team's performed the last few weeks. Is it the home cooking or what?
I don't think so. I think, we're sort of getting into a rhythm. We had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but, some of the girls that are doing new events, it's starting to click for them, and they're coming together as a group.
Carrie, with some of the injuries that you've been struggling with this season, as the season goes on, maybe those injuries start to hurt a little more or get a little bit more tiring on the girls. How do you kind of keep your team rallied up?
You know what? It's a balance during the week. We really try and train them as smart as we can. We do a lot of mental work with them because physically right now, the numbers, a lot of them can't handle in the gym, so we really work with them mentally to keep them sharp.
Carrie, noticed on the uneven bars a very strong rotation for you, and that's been an apparatus that's caused you problems over the season.
Yeah, you know, we've been working on our landings, which is always a nice exclamation point to a good routine. And handstands, of course, are a big thing for college gymnasts. So we spent a lot of time this past week working on handstands and landings, and I think it paid off.
All right, Carrie, congratulations. Good luck, and we'll see you down the road at the championships,
Thank you. Thank you.
We begin the second rotation with Ohio State on the vault. You're looking at sophomore Nicole Crowder from Carmel, Indiana.
Another round-off entry, full twist off the horse.
And Nicole, coming off an ankle injury last year, looked like it wasn't bothering her at all. And this is her first year vaulting after another injury to her knee. So she is really patched up and ready to go.
You can see she steps a little bit sideways and back, maybe 1 to 2 tenths on that landing. But her execution in the air, you can see how her legs and toes are together. That's very important. Nicely done.
First event for Nicole. Now over to the uneven bars, where the Illini will put Jacqueline Kentucky, the 5'5" freshman, up first. Kentucky with the 9.775 on the vault.
Nice first release by Jacqueline. Toe up to the high bar. Giant full on top of the bar. Directly into a big release there, a unique release. We don't see that too often. That was a nice, unique release we just saw. Double back with a full twist. No steps on the landing.
Wow, she's gone 9.775 for a personal best so far, but she looked really comfortable there.
That was a pretty difficult packed routine for Jacqueline. That is such a wonderful release. I don't think I've ever seen that in college gymnastics before. Very refreshing to see. Double back with a full twist, knees together. No step. She's excited about that one.
A very, very happy freshman right there. And here is Casey Williamson, the sophomore. There's what she did on the bars, a 9.625. Now she's on the vault. Coming off her season high against Penn State, she did a 9.825 against the Nittany Lions.
Casey has that blind landing with the Yurchenko half. Such a smooth, calm run from Casey. It's interesting to see the differences in the runs that each gymnast has. Very smooth, nice extension coming onto the horse. Slightly short, but she knows right where she is in the air and just can manipulate her body slightly backwards just for a small step.
And Casey, as a sophomore, has really developed well over this season. Carrie Fagan very happy with the way she has progressed. Here is Alina Weinstein, the first and only time you'll probably see her tonight because her specialty is the uneven bars.
Nice connection there. Giant full to Tkachev, doing all her work on the high bar, now transitioning to the low bar with a big, what's called pack salto. Very difficult move in college gymnastics.
Kentucky with a 9.775 for her routine.
Nice handstand on that high bar. Another giant full.
Alina from Plainsboro, New Jersey.
Tkachev right into her second release. Dismount here, double back, stuck landing.
And Alina very happy with that. Business major, and gets a hug from her assistant coach. And here is Taylor Jones back on the vault after a 9.8 on the bars.
Taylor Jones is a very, very powerful gymnast, as we can see right here, the height and the rotation she gets off the horse. Yurchenko full. Coach Carey said she was struggling with some back problems this season. Surely can't tell by this vault right here, though. Nice execution in the twist. One step. Very, very powerful vault.
Taylor Jones with her effort, the sophomore. Now back to the uneven bars and a good close-up look at Melissa Fernandez. Kinesiology major, the 9.7 on the vault. Here she is on the bars.
We heard Coach Carey talking about the importance of handstands. And one thing that really sets this Illinois team apart is their handstands. They're just wonderful lines, and they get straight vertical, which the judges really look for. Very sharp routine so far.
I'm sorry, Elise. Alina Weinstein with her career best 9.85.
Huge dismount. Wow, that was impressive.
And Melissa right on top of that.
That dismount is extremely difficult, and she did it flawlessly. This is definitely worth seeing again. Look how high she gets off the bar, rises almost completely above it in her first flip, nails the dismount.
2 events down for Melissa Fernandez. And back to the vault. Here is Rebecca Best, the All-America. Her score on the bar is a 9.7. And she's gone 9.85 in this event.
Now, Rebecca just did a 1.5 twist, Yurchenko 1.5 twist, the most difficult vault we've seen so far in the competition. Just adding that half twist that we see adds a tremendous amount of difficulty. And this vault right here, you can see 1.5 right there, is worth the same as a Yurchenko full. So the fact that she's even doing it is very impressive.
And this big step on the landing, how much will that cost her, you think?
She's a little short, probably be about 2/10.
Allison Buckley already leading her team in the vault. Now she's on the bars. 4th Illinois all-time in career individual titles. She's won 36 events over her career, and she's just a junior.
Here's that beautiful handstand we're talking about. Big first release. Another pack salto down to the low bar. It's basically a laid out flip from high to low.
Melissa Fernandez with a big 9.925.
She is such an aggressive bar swinger. Big front dismount. We haven't seen that yet tonight, which is also a blind landing as we were talking about, which is very hard to see as the mat comes around. It sort of surprises you if you're not ready.
Allison Buckley, another good effort.
Look at this big pack salto laid out flip. She sees that low bar, puts her hands on, keeps swinging. Front dismount here extending over the low bar, drives those heels, 2 flips, tiniest top.
Illinois having a good round on the bars. A couple of career highs so far for Alina Weinstein and Melissa Fernandez. And we'll see what Buckley does. Here is Hillary Dow. Good effort on the bars. And again, she's on the vault.
Nice vault by Hillary. She landed a couple of those vaults a little bit short in warm-ups. She's a true competitor, pulls it out when she has to.
Take a look again.
From the straight angle, you can really see the position as she comes onto the mat and back onto the horse. She's very straight. Oh, just the smallest top, and she stays perfectly straight the whole time as she twists, which means that she did the vault very technically correct.
And I guess that's one good reason why she's the best vaulter on Carrie Fagan's team. Now here, Nicole Coward. After Allison Buckley, 9.775. We told you about her tweaking her ankle, and that was in warm-ups. Didn't seem to bother her much on the vault. Here we go on the bars where she's 8th in the conference.
There was that grip change as she casts to the handstand, flips her hand, strata back handstand.
You see Buckley's score there.
Direction change. She does a ginger inside the bars. You can see her really gearing up for dismount. Big, huge dismount. That's the second one we've seen tonight. Double layout with a full twist.
And there is Nicole Coward again, not showing any effects of the ankle apparently.
Here's that Ginger in between the bars. It's more difficult going in between the bars because you actually have something in front of you that you don't want to kick. Her big dismount layout, full twist, very difficult dismount in college gymnastics, that's for sure.
Sarah Schmidt for Illinois. This is, or has been, her best event, although Bob Starkell will tell you she has had a better junior year than she's having as a senior, but there is still time.
There's a lot of pirouetting, huge piked Jaeger. We've seen the Jaeger tonight already, but she chooses to do it in a pike position. There's that pack salto. Illinois' bar routines are packed full of difficulty. Sarah has beautiful lines. You can see the extension in her toe point, toe onto handstand, directly into a full pirouette, right into a double tuck dismount. A lot of connection in that routine. She gains a lot of bonus for all the moves that she does back to back. This is a very, very clean double back dismount coming up right here. You can see how her knees are just glued together and just knows exactly where she is to stick that landing.
And Sarah with 24 individual titles in her career. And we're back. The Big Ten Network is looking for its most passionate fans with Big Ten superfans. The Big Ten Network wants to reward its loyal viewers with chances to win great prizes like tickets to a Big Ten game, autographed memorabilia, electronics, much more. Register now at BigTenNetwork.com. On to the results for the Buckeyes on the vault after rotation number 2, and Nicole Crowder leading the way.
That's right, and we only have 5 scores here, so they're all going to count. We're still not really sure why Colleen decided to scratch, but Nicole's 9-8 will definitely help Ohio State's effort.
And for Illinois, Melissa Fernandez with a fine effort, 9.925.
Yes, and we also have to mention Sarah Schmidt's 9.0. 9.9 and above. Excellent, excellent work on bars. We saw a lot of difficulty from the Illinois team and a lot of stuck landings.
Well, the team's score after 2 rotations, the homestanding Illini are leading, but it is still fairly close. And for the all-around competition right now, there's a 3-way tie for first between the 3 Illini, Allison Buckley, Melissa Fernandez, Sarah Schmidt. Not a big surprise there, Elise.
That's right. The 3 All-Americans that we mentioned in the beginning, there they are. 1, 2, 3, all tied for the same score so far.
Back at Huff Hall, Elise, if you're Ohio State and Kerry Fagan, you have to be happy with where your team is, even though you're a little bit behind.
Yeah, we've got a close match so far. Illinois spread the gap a little bit on bars. Their bars were very sharp, packed full of difficulty, and they really did well on their landings. But 5/10, and we still have 2 rotations to go. We have a good match.
All right, we got beam and floor coming up. Beam is always fun, unless you're competing on it and having a problem. But where do you see this going?
Well, we do have beam and floor left. Beam, one of the most difficult events to compete, and it's very difficult to end on that event. So it comes down to nerves, comes down to mental preparation, but that could be the make it or break it for each team.
All right, lots more to go. Rotation 3 begins with Illinois on the balance beam and Nicole Cowart. And here, this is where Bob Starkell looks to give his team a big lift by starting Nicole in the number 1 position.
Flight series right there. Back handspring step out to a layout step out. Always feels good as a gymnast when you nail your first flight series. Sort of give you a boost of confidence for the rest of the routine. Full turn, a required element for each gymnast in the competition tonight. And it's funny because it's a very simple skill, but can be a real nuisance because you get pretty nervous and sometimes it throws off. That right there was a full twisting Shusha Nova. You could see how she came down to her stomach on the beam. Very unique and very difficult skill. There's her combination. She does a small beat jump into a standing back layout step out, which takes a whole lot of strength in those legs.
Well, if that ankle is bothering her, she's covering it up very well.
She sure is. You would never even know it happened. 1.5 dismount. That was a very solid routine. Great start for Illinois.
And you get it from position number 1. Sets a tone.
It sure does. Nicole did that very nicely. Here's that first flight series back handspring, layout step out. Hardly any deduction in that flight. You can see how your foot is almost the length of the beam. I'm sorry, the width of the beam. Dismount here, round off, back 1.5 twist. There's that blind landing again. Stuck.
Now to the floor, and Ohio State will lead off with Casey Williamson, the sophomore from Mansfield, Ohio. Those are her 2 apparatus scores already. Carrie Fagan in the background. Carrie, of course, an outstanding gymnast when she was an undergraduate at Penn State.
Yep, she's going to restart with the music. Again, that's a little mental hiccup. You're kind of geared up to go, and then the music stops, but she just has to gear back up.
And no penalty.
And get started. No penalty. Nice dance combination there. Before she even starts her tumbling, she'll get some bonus connection for those 2 jumps. First tumbling run. Double pike, and she lands it short. You can see she came down to her knees there. Can't feel too good on those ankles. It's difficult when you fall on your first tumbling pass. Really sort of shorts you out mentally. You're a little bit discouraged, but Casey is a really strong competitor, so she should be able to finish up this routine strongly.
But again, you don't want to really start that way as a team because it sets a tone that everybody's got more pressure on them.
It does. Hopefully that Casey will be one of the only ones to fall and they can drop her score. She had a very clean second pass there from handspring to 2 front layouts in a row. Taking a breath there before her third pass. Into a very clean 2.5 twist. She had a couple steps out of it but managed to stay in bounds. That's a nice pass to end with. It's high in difficulty, that blind landing. And sometimes girls can tend to fly out of bounds, but she did very well. Here's her first pass, double pike. She just lands slightly short, lacks a little bit in height. And her final run, round off back handspring, back 2.5 twist, and stays up on those feet and in bounds.
Casey Williamson, yeah, she's had a very good run, and I know she's not all that happy with it, but we'll see what happens with the rest of her teammates. Here's Samantha Perino, and she is someone whom Bob Starkello is also very happy with, who's really blossomed as a junior. She had barely started on any events on floor exercise before this season, the only 2 starts she had, but now she's competing on the beam as well as on the floor, and just set a personal best in her last meet against Michigan.
Hopefully Samantha is feeling the rhythm of Nicole's routine, feeling that energy. Nicole started off so strong. I'm sure Samantha really wants to keep that flowing. Nice switch leap to a wolf full, big dance connection right there. Actually a very difficult move to do on the balance beam. Setting up for her flight series, traveling down the beam. 1 layout step out. Slight balance check, but she recovers.
Nicole Coward a 9.8 for her beam routine.
There's another dance combination. Samantha has a lot of difficult dance combinations in this routine, which really gets her up to that 10-0 start value. Front flip, nice fight. You see that leg come off the beam. Sometimes when the leg comes off the beam, it opens up your hip and can kind of make you fall off, but she pulled it back. The couple of balance checks that she did have are pretty big ones. She'll probably get taken a lot on those. Nice clean dismount. She does a gainer dismount coming back towards the beam. You don't see that too often. That was nice.
Samantha Perino, junior from Yorktown, Virginia. Let's see.
Her flight series here, back handspring, layout, step out. We'll see how she turns completely sideways, but is still on. And this unique dismount. Moving forward, but flipping backwards. Very clean.
Okay, good work for Samantha Perino, and now back to the floor, and here is Nicole Crowder. And Nicole with her second event now.
Nicole has a tough job right here. She's really got to pick the team energy up, put up a solid performance.
Casey Williamson went 8.875, so you know these other 5 scores have to count.
Big double back first pass, very clean. She's got some dynamic floor music going on. You can feel the energy from Nicole in her choreography. Nice, clean second pass, front handspring, front fold directly into a pike flip. As I said before, very dynamic music. Here she takes a minute to slow it down. Nice performance and dance from Nicole. It's a very interesting dance combination there. Usually gymnasts start with a full turn or double turn into a jump, but she reversed it. Music picks back up as she gears up for her third tumbling run. She's probably feeling pretty good at this point, feeling confident about this third pass. Front handspring Rudy, which is a 1.5 twist. All her twisting is very clean.
Nicole Crowder.
Very, very nice routine from Nicole House. They really needed that.
You saw Meredith Yanishanis, the assistant coach, along with Bill Lorenz, the other assistant.
Here's Nicole's second pass, front handspring, front fold directly into a pike. And final run, front handspring into a front 1.5 twist. You could just see her ankles and legs are squeezed together very beautifully.
There's a good look at Nicole, and a good pick-me-up for Ohio State. Here is Sarah Schmidt, and she is having a nice meet, especially with the uneven bars routine. Senior from Heartland, Wisconsin on the beam has just set her own personal best, 1 meet ago against the Wolverines.
Another back handspring layout step out for Sarah's flight series. We noticed on bars Sarah's extension in her legs and her toe point. You can see here her artistry continues on balance beam. Same beautiful toe point, beautiful expressive hands.
Bob Starkell says she was not heavily recruited coming out of high school in Wisconsin, but boy, has she been a boon for this team.
Nice combination right there. She does a Sassone, which is a one-legged hop into a gainer layout step out. 2 skills that really show off those extensions in her legs.
Perino, a 9.725 for her routine.
Cartwheel, back gainer, full twist, hook landing. Beautiful routine for Sarah. She really has beautiful expression, looked very poised up on that balance beam. Here's the flight series that we see from a couple other gymnasts. The handspring layout step out. You can see her footwork here on the beam, moving down the beam. Up on her toes there, curling the toes under. She had really nice choreography down on the beam. There's that gainer layout step out, which is a very difficult move to do on the beam. And her dismount, very clean, cartwheel, gainer full, without any deduction on the landing.
Very happy Bob Starkell right there next to Sarah Schmidt. Kristen Perhach now on the floor for Ohio State. Kristen, another comparatively tall gymnast at 5'7".
Nice first pass there, back 2.5 twist. Hopefully Kristen is feeding off the energy of Nicole's routine, keeping the momentum for this Ohio State team. Coming in confident for her second tumbling run. Double back to salto. She chooses to do it in her second pass, which is nice to see. Gymnasts sometimes choose to do the double salto pass in their first run because it's pretty difficult. It's nice to see it there in her second pass. Kristen, also an expressive gymnast, holding that smile through the whole routine.
Saw Nicole Crowder's score, 9.675.
Big jump, Wolf 1.5. Into her corner, she sets up, takes that final breath, third run. Front through to double full, little short on that landing, but recovers. As you can see, she added a front tuck before that double twist, adding a little bit of difficulty to the pass. Nice routine by Kristen.
And you see Bill Lorenz, the assistant coach. And we'll take a look at the first pass.
This is a nicely executed back 2.5 twist. You can see her ankles and legs are pressed together. And her final run, she adds a front tuck and keeps it moving down that floor into a back double twist.
And Carrie Fagan likes it. The effort from the senior from Naperville, Illinois, Kristen Perhach. And Kelsey Joannides, 9.725 on the ball. Business major. And here's the sophomore's efforts on the beam.
Her first dance combination, switch leg into a straddle quarter. So you can see she landed facing away from the beam. So she was really looking at people or the hardwood floor, which can be a difficult way to land. Flight pass, handspring layout, step out. She looks so calm up there, doesn't she? Has a nice rhythm to this routine.
She's one of the more quiet and serious gymnasts in a crowd of fun-loving Illini, but you can see how much she puts into her gymnastics. And look at Sarah Schmidt. That is a career high for her, 9.850.
Another forward landing. Beautiful switch side she just did there. A difficult dance move. Front aerial to a beat jump. That front aerial is an extremely difficult move to do on the balance beam because you cannot see if your foot is actually going to land on the beam. It all depends on how you take off. That was beautifully done. Cartwheel, gainer full, simple dismount, but very well executed.
Sophomore Kelsey Joannides.
You can see her very smooth, very calm and collected flight series. Beautifully straight legs. This is the big element. Front aerial. Remember, she can't see the beam when her foot lands. Clean dismount.
Very, very nice routine from Kelsey. And back to the floor where Ohio State needs some big numbers, and Hillary Dow is someone to put them up. She has beautiful choreography. Again, she is very tall, and she's going to need to pull out every trick in the bag to get Ohio State back in this. Kristen Perhach with a 9.6. So Ohio State is having problems scoring on this on this event.
Nice first pass for Hillary. It was a whip half to a punch front Rudy right away. Landed it very well. Another expressive floor routine from Hillary. Floor exercise can be very fun when you choose music that you really like and have your great choreography to dance to. It's really a chance for each gymnast to individually express the way they move. A little freedom of expression out there. Hillary's second tumbling run coming right here. Double pike, big second pass for Hillary. Remember that Hillary is competing on a stress fracture in her ankle. And if there's any event that takes its toll on ankles, it's surely the floor exercise. But you cannot tell. She's competing her very best out there.
And she always has that wonderful glow about her.
She sure does. Third pass, another whip back pass.
And there the ankle. Oh my.
Oh.
Just as we say it, and this is bad news. This is definitely bad news.
Oh, we're just talking about her ankle problems, and a whip back pass directly into a back double fold can be very taxing on your ankles. Looks like she took off. Let's take a look at what happened here. She's a whip back straight into a double full, and it looks like she lands really short and is maybe still twisting a little bit. Right here, she's still twisting, and she lands with her chest down, which puts a lot of pressure on those ankles, an ankle that already is very, very sore.
As they attend to Hillary, let's check in with Allison Buckley on the beam, where she was second-team All-America on this apparatus as a freshman, and in so doing became the first All-America at the University of Illinois in more than 30 years, since 1976. They've had a couple more since, but another indication of how Illinois really has turned the corner.
That was a very impressive mount that we just saw from Allison. She did a press handstand into a bit of a planche skill, and on the balance beam when nerves are flowing, that can be very hard to control, but that was beautiful. Huge flight pass for Allison. Instead of doing one back layout, she does two. Often a flight series that we see in elite gymnastics, and Allison is still doing it here in college gymnastics.
She even makes a balance check look good.
She is just a dynamic, confident gymnast. Switch leg, back tuck, solid. You can tell by the way she moves, and the way she goes into each element, how confident she is. Balance beam is so much a mental game up there. A lot of gymnasts talk their way through things or tell themselves keywords, and it really pays off. Big jump combination there. She does a sheep jump where she loses sight of the beam, tilts her head back, and then resights the beam to land. Nice cartwheel gainer full dismount. As with all of Allison's routine, packed full of difficulty. Here's Allison's mount right here. We don't see this too often, which is very refreshing. Nice press handstand, and I cannot tell you enough how very difficult that is. It takes a lot of strength. Switch leg, huge back tuck. Solid, solid landing. No cartwheel gainer back full. Nice routine from Allison.
Very nice routine from Allison Buckley. And let's go back on the floor to Rebecca Best. And again, this is where she won her All-America honors on the floor exercise last year. Her teammates have had problems, and Hillary Dow injured with that 9.475. No doubt it would have been higher had she been able to complete the routine. But here's Rebecca, and she has some wonderful choreography.
We can see why Rebecca's an All-American right here from this first tumbling run. That is a huge first pass, a double back with a full twist. You don't see those too often in college gymnastics because it is so very difficult. I saw Rebecca land a couple of those a little bit short in warm-ups, but she nailed it here in the competition. Rebecca has a very important job on this floor exercise because of what happened to Hillary. She's really got to get her team back up, and she can do so by nailing this set. Nice second pass, back 2.5 twist. Rebecca has one more tumbling run to go. Right here, third pass. She goes forward and nails it. Nice finish for Rebecca. That's a great finish pose.
Outstanding routine, and Ohio State needs every 10th it can get. Well, that injury bugaboo continues to bite the Buckeyes.
Let's look at this first tumbling run. A very, very impressive round-up back handspring. Double back with a full twist. Beautiful landing. And she knows how good that first pass was.
There is a good look at Rebecca Best. Here's Melissa Fernandez, who is All-America first team on this event. The first team All-American in the history of the Illini. And she placed 7th in the NCAA finals last year, which is the best finish by any Illini.
And that says a lot about Melissa's beam work. The fact that she was in the finals, NCAA. You can see why right there. First tumbling run, back handspring to a layout, step out. College gymnasts don't necessarily need to do 3 skills in their flight series, but when they do, as you can see, really makes them stand out.
9.825 for Allison Buckley.
Nice side flip by Melissa. You can see she lands forward. There's her jump combination. She goes switch leap into a split full. She'll get connection bonus for that. And sometimes the dance elements, like what we just saw right there from Melissa, are just as difficult as the acrobatic elements. This is an excellent routine so far by Melissa. Very, very few bobbles. And a big double twist dismount, just a little hop on the landing. The judges will have a hard time finding a lot of deductions in that routine. It's very clean.
Well, she's gone 9.925 in the past. We'll see how that, but just a beautifully fluid routine to watch.
Here are those 3 skills in a row. 2 back handsprings followed by a handspring layout step out. No deduction there. And her dismount round off on the end of the beam. Straight body, 2 twists, just a little bit step to the side.
Bob Starkell talking to his charges after that wonderful routine by Melissa Fernandez. Here's Colleen Dean. And she was scratched from the vault, and now she's back on the floor and has to come up big.
She really does. She has a big job ahead of her right here with 2 girls that had some falls in their routines. This score from her has got to count.
She is the best, or has scored the best this season for Ohio State.
She has a front handspring, and she has a double twist out of that front handspring. Remember, she's traveling forward, and that can be very difficult to land. That was an impressive first pass here. I watched Colleen do her dance through in warm-up, and she has great choreography, great expression. Second pass, solid double tuck. She looks like she's going to get this job done for Ohio State right here. Has some dramatic music to match her dramatic dance. 1 more pass to go. Traveling forward. There she goes. All 3 tumbling runs are very clean for Colleen. The judges would definitely like her expressive dance too.
Nice. Freshman Colleen Dean.
Great way to end for Ohio State right there by Colleen Dean. Second tumbling pass. Traveling backwards, 2 flips. And she knew right where she was. Nice landing. Carrie knows it.
Action continues here at Huff Hall on the campus of the U of I. Hey, Big Ten fans, now you can get free programming alerts on your mobile phone. Be the first to know when your favorite coaches and players will appear on the Big Ten Network. Just text alerts to 20284 or log on to bigtennetwork.com/alerts. Message and data rates may apply. After the third rotation, Elise, 3-way tie. Nice job on the beam. for your 3 All-Americans.
That's right, and we see all 5 scores that they actually are going to count are 9.8 and above. And let's remember that this is all in the balance beam. That is a very impressive effort by Illinois.
And on the floor for Ohio State, not so much. The injury to Hillary Dow, the falls by Casey Williamson, this was kind of rough for the Buckeyes, to say the least, and it certainly has put them back in the standings right now, at least.
That's right, we can see 145.875. A little bit lower than Illinois because of those falls, and unfortunately the injury by Hillary. They're going to have a lot to do on their 4th rotation.
And you can see the all-around now is a tie between Sarah Schmidt and Melissa Fernandez, and Allison Buckley not far behind. Final rotation, a good look up close at sophomore Taylor Jones for Ohio State as they go to the beam routine.
Taylor was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. Coming into her sophomore year, she probably has more experience under her belt, hopefully feeling a little bit more confident. Balance beam is always a very tough event to end on. And she's in a very tough position as she's handling beautifully so far. Very difficult first flight series. Dance combination there, 3 in a row instead of 2, adding a little bit more connective bonus. Big skill punch front. I watched Taylor warm up on the floor before she got up on the apparatus. Just really shows her mental focus. She was going through routine after routine on the floor. Nice dismount, cartwheel, gainer full, very clean. Nice start for Ohio State.
Yeah, Taylor Jones very happy with that. That could well be a season high for her.
Usually we see this flight series with a step out, but she chooses to land with 2 feet, increasing the difficulty of it. Another very difficult skill here, punch front. Lands it very well.
And Taylor Jones, who had been giving up the beam for a while because of back issues, she's back on it and very, very strong to start. Now to the floor where Samantha Perino leads off for Illinois. Did a nice job on the beam at a 9.725. And here is the junior from Yorktown, Virginia.
Huge double pike Samantha starts out with. A lot of height off that floor. To remember that the floor does have some spring and foam under it to help the girls get up, but mostly it's the use of their legs and their power that does the job. She's smiling as her teammates are standing right in front of her, being really loud. That adds so much energy to you when you're competing out there, to hear your teammates behind you.
They've got a wonderful drill at Illinois where all these teammates line up around the sides of the mat, and as the tumbler makes eye contact with them, they sit down. So it's training you to keep your eyes up and focused and
Yep,
look
that's
happy.
right. We used to do that at Michigan as well. Yeah, it teaches you to have expression and to make eye contact. The judges really love it when they see your eyes, see the expression in your face. Third tumbling pass. Very clean, double full directly into a punch front. Adds a little dynamic twist to that pass. Nice clean set from Samantha.
And you can see her teammates mimicking her routine in the background, too. They're very happy with that, especially for a leadoff. First pass coming up.
First pass, this is one of the biggest double pikes I've seen yet tonight. She just has tremendous height off the floor. And a very unique last pass, double twist, directly into a punch front. Really uses the power in her legs and the bounce of the floor. Good start for Illinois.
And Sam gets a hug from Sarah. Nicole Crowder now on the beam. Did well on the vault. had her problems on the floor, as did most of the Buckeyes.
There's another one of those press up to handstands for a mount.
Taylor Jones with her season high.
Nicole hoping here to follow Taylor's lead in another solid beam routine. Full turn required element. Big jump there, high in difficulty, split 3/4. You can see she lands facing away from the beam, not being able to see it when she lands. Nice flight series. If you caught that there, her first back handspring was done with one arm, which adds a lot of difficulty and also a lot of risk to that flight series. Beautiful front aerial. Makes that skill look effortless, but I tell you, it is not effortless to learn. Nice standing gainer full dismount.
And Elise, you know from beam. Nicole Crowder.
This is definitely worth seeing again. Take note, one arm only into a very solid back layout. Standing gainer full. Notice that she doesn't do any skill before that full. It's actually a lot harder the way Nicole does it right there.
And a good effort from the Indiana sophomore, Carmel, Indiana. And Melissa Fernandez, who is having a fine meet, as you can see. Here is her floor routine, and it's the first year that she has performed on the floor for the Illini. Samantha Perino tying her season high.
That 9-8 is a great start to this floor rotation, and all the girls thereafter hoping to build on that 9-8. Big first pass, double pike. A little bit of sass coming from Melissa, a little salsa routine here. Second tumbling run. 2.5, punch front. We've seen a couple of back 2.5s this competition, but none that follow into a front tuck. It adds difficulty and it adds connective bonus. It's a very strong second pass. Nice dance combination there, working to get up to that 10-0 start value. Very clean third pass, forward tumbling down the diagonal. She must have done a lot of work this summer to be able to compete on this exercise. She's third up and just did a great routine for Illinois. She posted a nice score.
Wow. Melissa Fernandez.
Melissa's first tumbling run right here. Nice clean, nicely landed, double pike. You can see Bob standing there in the corner. Sometimes that helps the girl just with a visual cue as she's coming forward so she stays in bounds. Big second pass for Melissa.
We had Bob on one side of the mat, assistant Amy Cruz on the other side of the mat, and Melissa did very, very well. Here's Casey Williamson. She is on beam and just set her season and personal best against Penn State.
Casey's coming off a fall from the floor exercise, so hopefully she's pretty fired up about this beam routine, wants to come back with a solid finish for her own competition, also for the team. That was a big mount from Casey, a punch front onto the beam.
Nicole Crowder, the 9.75.
Sometimes gymnasts on the balance beam like to start with a very simple mount, just in order to mount the beam with confidence and sort of get the flow of the routine, but Casey really goes for it, starting with a difficult mount of that punch front. Switch leg leap, immediately into 2 back tucks, a lot of connective bonus there and done very cleanly. When you connect skills like that, it is crucial not to bobble in between each skill because then you will lose the bonus for it. But Casey connected all three skills very well there. She should get all of that bonus. Another switch leap directly into a back gainer, full dismount in a tuck position. Here's that big mount that Casey starts with off the board. Complete front flip onto the board. Little balance check there, pulls it right up. Here's all that connection right in a row. Back tuck, right into another back tuck. You can see her feet move just slightly in between the two back tucks. Hopefully that won't affect her connection.
Casey Williamson, the sophomore, finishes her day's work. And to Nicole Cowart, here on the floor, where you're going to see a lot of intensity, a lot of energy, and a lot of strength.
And this first pass here is where we see Nicole in warm-ups. We saw her fall come a little shorter for two flips and hurt that ankle. See her do it right here. And she nails it. You can see she has a mat there in the corner, which adds a little extra softness to that landing, probably protecting that ankle.
Do you get deducted for slipping the mat under?
No, you do not. As you can see that they drew where the corner was on the mat because it's a little bit more difficult to see if you go out of bounds. But other than that, no deduction. You'd never even know she had difficulty with that in warm-ups. That's a true competitor. Back 1.5 twist right to a front layout. You can see she didn't even step out into a lunge there. She just nailed it on 2 feet. That's very impressive. She was happy with that pass too. Saw a little smile. Dynamic floor music to go with her dynamic choreography. One more pass to go. Looks like that ankle's holding up very well. Whip half directly to a punch 1.5 twist. Big final pass there.
Hello and thank you very much. Nicole Cowart.
You can't tell it all by her face, but I'm sure she's really feeling that ankle, and she really pulled it out for the team.
Sure.
This is the pass right here that she came up short in warm-ups. You can see the mat there for a little extra cushioning. And this right here is the warm-up where that same pass, you can see she lands short. She kind of crumbles onto there. You can tell she's in a lot of pain. That was just a few hours ago. Now she smiles.
And here is Kristen Perhach, who is substituting for Hillary Dow after Hillary, as you recall, injured her ankle in her floor exercise routine. She's icing it now, but here is Kristen, who's got a very effective beam routine as well, and she is top 20 in the conference at it, so not too much of a drop, if any.
This is a tough position for Kristen. Although she warmed up, she in her mind didn't know she was competing, and in the last minute had to put that mental game together, get her competitive face on, and do the routine for the team.
Well, she comes out of the chorus, and let's see if she can start. So far, so good.
Flight series, back handspring, layout, landing with 2 feet.
See Casey Williamson with a 9.7.
Kristen's dance combination there, landing, forward landing, not seeing the beam. You could see Kristen have a lot of mental talk before she mounted the beam. Means she probably has a reel going on in her head. Every move telling herself cue words, cue things to think about as she's moving down the beam.
Psychology major too, so she's probably doing a good job on herself. Okay. There's Hillary. You can see the left ankle in ice and cheering her teammate on. And Kristen Perhach really did a wonderful job, especially under the circumstances. We'll get her score in a moment.
There's that flight series, landing her layout, 2 feet, a little bit piked down. She'll get a small deduction for that. standing, back gainer full. Again, standing going into the gainer dismount. It's much harder than adding a skill to it. Stuck landing.
Quite a job under the circumstances, especially. Kelsey Joannidis for Illinois. She'll be now on the floor, where she is top 15 in the conference at number 13.
This was my floor music my senior year, so I have a natural affinity to it.
You can hum along, you know.
Beautiful double pike by Kelsey. Cool, calm, and collected as usual. Very poised out there as she was on the balance beam.
See Nicole score there. Another 9.775.
Three elements in a row for her dance combination right before her second tumbling run. Coming up here. She cracks a smile. We saw that. Traveling forward. Two front layouts in a row. Somewhat of a simple pass, but done very cleanly.
Kelsey's from your neck of the woods, Frederick, Maryland.
Third tumbling pass ends with a double back. As I said before, sometimes gymnasts start with that, but Kelsey chooses to end with it. Very clean.
Well, another example of a good year at keeps building for an Illinois gymnast. Kelsey Joannidis.
Here's Kelsey's first tumbling run of the day. Back double pike, and no deduction on that landing. Here's some choreography showing her grace and her poise. She's very smooth, big dynamic jumps there. We'll get credit for all that connection. Final tumbling run. Two flips, stands up nicely.
And congrats from the coach. Now back over to the beam. And here is Colleen Dean, the freshman, with a lot of pressure on her.
We saw Colleen's expression in her floor choreography. Usually that translates also up into the beam, so we can see her expression in her hands. Nice presentation, very sharp. Big element there, brings her off the beam. You could see that leg lift up. She was really trying to fight to stay on the beam. Sometimes you lift that leg too high. As I said before, it just opens your hips a little bit and you just can't pull it back. Same thing happens there. Lifts that leg up a little bit too high. She really has to reset her mental game right here. Two big falls in a row can be difficult to get back up and keep going. Really has to focus in. And even though she has two falls, she does not want to give up anymore. Nice split 3/4 there. Punch, front full in a tuck position.
Well, she got through it.
See what happens here in this front aerial. Her foot is fighting to stay on, and her chest just dips back a little bit too far. Ends with a very clean dismount though. Just a baby step there, but very well executed.
And more problems for Ohio State. And you know Colleen is
That's an
disappointed.
upset face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. And Carrie Fagan knows that things have kind of deteriorated a bit here. Allison Buckley for Illinois. She's holding steady just fine and then some. Look at those numbers. Allison ranked 5th in the conference on the floor exercise.
That's an impressive first pass. She goes front handspring, 2 twists going forward directly into a punch front. It's a big tumbling pass in college gymnastics. Second pass right away, going forward again. Front layout directly into a punch 1.5. Now Allison makes this look very, very easy, but I assure you it is not. Allison had a tremendous meet so far tonight, and floor exercise is just a fun event to end on. You can sort of let it all out, whatever energy, nerves, adrenaline you have left. You just leave it out on the floor. You can see she's all smiles, feeling good out there. Third tumbling run, the final one of the day. Ends with a very solid double pike. You can see she just sticks that landing into a very confident lunge. Very difficult routine, but you'd never know it. Nice job by Allison.
Well, Bob Starkell keeping his poker face, but you know he's happy with Allison Buckley. Here's the first pass.
Packed full of difficulty right here. Front handspring, 2 twists right into a front tuck. Just doing those 2 twists is hard, but she adds a front. Final tumbling run. Big double pike, a pass that a lot of gymnasts start with, but Allison chooses to end with. Really sets her apart.
And a few words from the coach, Allison Buckley. Very, very comfortable out there. And Rebecca Best has had a good meet too, and the junior will show her beam routine.
This is really an opportunity for Rebecca to just really go for it up there. Go aggressive, be confident. At this point, Ohio State has had a couple of falls on the beam, probably out of the contention for first place for the team. So this is her chance to just really settle in up there, get her job done. Nice switch leg leap. She ended that leap with 2 legs together. Boom, right away into a jump. Nice front flip there. That's actually considered a front flip, but as you can see, she kicks 1 leg and then lands with 2. Just a variation on the flip. Very confident, full turn. Huge dismount right there. She actually attaches somewhat of a flight series. She does 2 flips down the beam and then a final flip off the beam, which can be very difficult at the end of your routine because if one is off, the rest are going to be off. But she did that very well. This is a very solid flight series. Handspring, layout, step out. There's that front flip. Kicking with 1 leg, but landing with 2. Very aggressive, very dynamic. And 1, 2, 3 element dismount. Nice routine by Rebecca.
And Carrie Fagan, who hasn't had a lot to cheer about tonight, enjoys that. A solid routine by Rebecca Best. And now get ready for a treat. If history is any teacher, Sarah Schmidt on the floor, where she is just outstanding. Big Ten floor exercise champion. And here she is as a senior. Allison Buckley with a 9.8, so some good solid numbers for Illinois.
Nice clean double pike by Sarah. Nice height, legs were together. We saw great expression in Sarah's beam routine, which of course translated into her choreography on the floor. Front handspring, double full twist. We saw that done by Allison. Sarah didn't do it with a front tuck, but she did it just as beautifully. Very well executed, legs were together. Ooh, here's all that creative expression. Very unique stuff. You always want to set yourself apart in your choreography on floor so the judges will remember you and give you what is deserved for your artistic expression. Her third tumbling pass. Going forwards again, front layout, connected to a punch front Rudy, which is a 1.5 twist. That toe point is so beautiful. Lots of unique choreography from Sarah. Great way to end for Illinois. Sarah starts off with a big first pass, 2 saltos and a pike position. You can see her toes are even pointed in the flip. Just shows her attention to detail. Second pass here. Very difficult, as I said. 2 twists going forward. Again, legs together, ankles together. So beautifully done.
Illini are celebrating. We'll see the results when we come back. Stay tuned. We'll take a commercial break and return on the Big Ten Network. Back at Huff Hall at Champaign, the final competition is over. Rotation number 4 shows Ohio State with a season best number on the beam at 48.825, led by Rebecca Best.
The only falls that the Buckeyes had on this event were from Colleen. 8.625 can be tossed out, and they have nothing lower than a 9.7. Really great team score for the Buckeyes on the balance beam.
Special kudos to Kristen Perhach at the 9.75. She had a substitute at the last minute when Hillary Dell went down with the bad ankle. And on the floor, Illinois, solid top to bottom with Sarah Schmidt, 9.9, winning the event.
Great team score, 49.075 from Illinois. 9.7 can be tossed out, which alone is a great score. Really, really great final effort from Illinois.
So the final count shows Illinois with a 1.6 points lead and victory over the Ohio State Buckeyes, 196.3 to 194.7. Now let's check in with Elise and winning coach Bob Starkell.
Coach Bob, congratulations on your win tonight. What were your expectations coming into tonight, and were they met?
We were trying to hit a kind of a complete meet, meaning that we were trying to have all our routines stay on their feet, get through 4 events, and not count a major break. So that goal was attained.
And with Big Ten championships right around the corner, what are your goals in practice and sort of motivating the girls, keeping them healthy?
Sure. I think what we'll do is we'll look back at our routines, try to fix some of the small stuff, and make it really difficult for judges to take any deductions away from us.
Very good. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sarah Schmidt, your all-around winner, leading 3 Illini, top 1, 2, 3, the second all-around victory in her career for junior Sarah Schmidt. Well, that's it from Champaign. The results: the Fighting Illini 196.3, the Ohio State Buckeyes 194.7. Don't forget Women's Championships live on the Big Ten Network March 27th from Columbus. So long, everybody.